It's not been the easiest of transitions so far for Liverpool's record signing, so I asked football tactico Pythagoras in Boots to look into the challenges of adapting to the Premier League.
Thanks, Roman. Now, so we're fully aware it's only 2 weeks into the season, but we can already see key differences between how Xabi Alonso utilised Florian Wirtz versus how he's being deployed by Arne Slot at Liverpool so far. At Leverkusen, he predominantly played as a left inside forward in a 3-4-2-1, whereas at Liverpool, he's playing more as a number 10 in a 4-2-3-1 who can roam wherever he wants. Now, in the long term, that could yield a lot of benefit because Wirtz is being afforded a greater license to influence proceedings on the pitch, but it does mean that he's having to adjust to a completely different picture of the pitch. From the left at Leverkusen, he was able to pick up the ball away from central pressure, near the touchline, link up with the likes of Grimaldo, Xhaka. So there were certain tactical pillars there, repeatability that gave him that process and the rhythm to get into the flow of games. Furthermore, from a scanning perspective, you're seeing similar pictures time and time again when you're playing in a certain zone of the pitch. Now, at Liverpool, due to Arne Slot's new relationist vision in midfield, Wirtz is picking up the ball from the right side, the left side, number 10. So every time he's collecting the ball, he's experiencing a different situation and he's having to deal with a wider range of pictures to what he's exposed to at Leverkusen. So scanning-wise, it's a far more difficult task. And on top of that, he's having to deal with a brand new set of teammates. Each week, he's played ahead of a new midfield pairing. Worth noting that in pre-season, he played really well ahead of Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, but that's not a midfield pairing we've seen start together yet since the season's actually started. Not to mention dealing with a brand new set of opponents. The numbers tell us that the Premier League is the most intense league in the world. From a sprinting perspective, it demands more of your body compared to the Bundesliga. Now, Wirtz averaged 9.7 kilometers a game in the Bundesliga and 33.1 sprints per 90. Now, in stark contrast, the opening game against Bournemouth, 11 kilometers covered. But in terms of sprinting metrics, Wirtz has made the most sprints out of anyone in the Premier League with 56 runs per 90. So what this tells us is that Wirtz is having to work a hell of a lot harder, cover a lot more ground, and yet he's seeing less of the ball, he's making less passes, he's progressing the ball less with the ball at his feet, which begs the question, how does Arne Slot make him more efficient and as a result, more impactful? Well, the first thing we need to remember, it's merely game week 3. We need to have some patience. Slot needs time to find that settled midfield around Wirtz for him to build that familiarity. Also worth noting, if Isak does finally arrive at Liverpool, it should improve their ability to bring Wirtz into the game. I think Ekitike, for all the hype, he has been slightly inconsistent and wasteful in terms of his link-up play. But if patience isn't a virtue, one suggestion could be to shift from the 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3, adjust Wirtz's positioning to a left-sided 8-10 role within a midfield 3, returning him to that zone of the pitch which he dominated in for Bayer Leverkusen, something he's familiar with, and maybe midway through the game, once he's into the flow of proceedings, then giving him the license to roam. Anyway, hope that helped, Roman. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, some big stats in there. Tim, there was one stat in particular that you were like, that's the one.
Yeah, the intensity of the Premier League over the other European leagues.